as some of you may know, I purchased my first Porsche Carrera 911, or also known as a 996. And for most of you, you know me on Instagram for owning classic cars, American muscle, and anything vintage. And this is far from vintage, even though it is a 2003 Porsche. This video, I'm gonna do like a grandpa style. I'm gonna sit here, the cars are gonna be behind me, there's gonna be B-roll clips. I'm just gonna keep it au naturel, but I really want to get into the backstory of purchasing my first Porsche. How long did it take me? How did I find the specific one behind me? What were some of the scared issues like IMS and bore scoring? How many kilometers have I put on it currently, so you know, and what has broken or cost to maintain this thing? So I'm just gonna go through a list of questions that I think would help other Porsche owners that are looking to purchase their first 996, or just give you a backstory so that this YouTube channel has some history. So yeah, I bought my first Porsche 911. I have my diary here. My first Porsche 911 on February 16th, 2025. And I'm from Ontario, Canada, and I purchased it in Vancouver Island. There's a whole story I want to document and do another video about, but basically I woke up at 3 a.m., got on a flight, dropped off, my friend picked me up, drove to the ferry to the guy's house, bought the car, ferry back, and then transported it back. So if you want to know all that other history as well too on how much transportation costs and you know what you need to know to transport a car around Canada, I can do a follow-up video. But I purchased it February 16, 2025, and it was the scariest thing I probably ever did.
Nervous.
You stressed?
Very. Very stressed. Nervous, stressed, a lot of emotions right now running through my head to see this car for the first time. As this garage is gonna be like, dun 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 dun. I'm gonna be like, oh my God.
What was I looking for to start? And my main criteria was hardtop, no cabriolet, within a certain budget, and it had to be a manual. Now, I could have opted for the other options, but in Ontario, Canada, it was very hard to find these options that weren't beat up or neglected, or the opposite of weren't driven. So I didn't care what color I wanted. I know I just wanted a Porsche 996 hardtop 6-speed. And this process took roughly 6 months to get this Porsche in my garage. From selling everything that I had before, you know, for most of you, before this I had a 1970 C10 short box. Before that I had a 71 Chevy Nova. Before that I had a 1950 Chev short box, and before that I had a BMW 2002, 1974. And I've always been a diehard Euro guy, but I always hated engine lights, lights on the dash, things that go wrong. Parts are super expensive. It's so funny that I'm now back into the higher end of Euro cars, where I started Volkswagens and BMWs like E36s and E46s and E39s. And now I own a 911 that is basically Porsche tax, as most guys like to explain. But so yeah, it took me 6 months to find this. I did a lot of research to understand what I was getting myself into, especially all of those hidden factors of the scare factors of 996s, like bore scoring or IMS failure, whether or not the person has driven it, what they've done to maintain it. And throughout that process, I was constantly on Facebook, DMing buddies, messaging friends to say like, hey, you have a 996, what can you tell me about it? And thankfully I have a great community of homies who basically own 996s that said, here are the keys for a day, take it out, make sure you love it, rev it past 6,000 RPM. And sure enough, after experiencing a few of those test drives, I was hooked. I was hooked after shifting it past 6,000 RPM and really hearing these things scream and being one with the car. I think that analog feeling in this Porsche, there's something about being one with this car that a lot of you can relate to if you own it, or if you don't understand, it's just you're hooked into this feeling. I don't know what it is and how to describe it. Maybe I'll do a drive of it, but it's something that it's hard to describe. And especially after, for me, 4,500 RPM, past 4,500, 6,000 RPM, and almost hitting that red line, it is a fucking blast to drive. To find this one, there's tips and tricks on how I found this one. And for all of you that are looking, that are saying they're impossible to find, or for myself, that talked to a lot of rich owners that were pretty much pricks that said, no, I don't want to meet with you at this, this, and this. Who are you? What do you drive now? Like basically interviewing me to purchase the car, which kind of not fair, but I get it now that I understand the Porsche community. And there's certain groups of people that I don't fit in with, and there's certain groups of people that I do fit in with the Porsche community. But for myself, the best win was actually posting it on Marketplace in Kijiji, posting ads looking for a Porsche 911 or a Porsche 996. Because I had the options to get a Cayman, not a fan. I had an option to get, a Boxster, but a lot of my friends came down to me and they were like, if it ain't a 911, it's not a Porsche, which is not fair because I know Caymans handle really well and I was considering one. But that happened so quickly. Me posting it, I got flooded with messages around the winter time because people are looking at their car in the garage and they might sell it. So I had one fellow in Vancouver Island, and I'm from Ontario, Canada, so that's a flight and a ferry, especially on the island, who messaged me saying he had one at a good price. He just bought another car. It needed to go. If you're serious, here's all the photos. Here's all the oil changes. So I have like spare oil change bags and the filters. I didn't get that until now while I'm doing my oil changes and get why he did that. But there was history to the car. It had 140,000 K. It was a 6-speed, black on black, well-maintained, beautiful garage that he kept it in. It had features that I didn't know that were, expensive for Porsche in the build sheet, like the Porsche exhaust, the X74 suspension, the Alcantara roof, the Bose sound system, just little things that I was like, oh, these are great extras, but what's the base? And that to me was the most important. It was a 2003, 140,000 kilometers, 6-speed manual, well taken care of. He sent me previous PPIs, which is super important if you're looking at your first Porsche, whether or not you get it or not. Bore scoping, we didn't do full bore scoping, which I could have done, but at the time I was eager to buy one and jump on this deal. But there's certain things that you would want to do when you purchase your first Porsche, and that's make sure you hit all the list of every criteria that you want first, and that that you can either budget to spend more money into it or budget the right one that you don't have to spend any money into it. And I knew at this one, he mentioned he only drove it a few times a month or drove it a few times a year, which made me scared, but also 140,000 kilometers mean it's been driven. So bringing it home from Vancouver home, I did the basic maintenances first. I did the oil changes, the trans fluid, brake fluid, checked the brakes, the rotors, the pads, checked suspension components, all on my own. And for anyone that's gonna buy a Porsche and do their own maintenance, there is Porsche tax, but there's a way to save as well too. And for myself, I went on Rock Auto and bought most of my components and parts. Oil changes, no matter what, this thing takes 10 liters. So you're gonna spend a good amount on liquid moly and solid products because you don't want it to fail. And for myself, in the last 2,500 kilometers or so, I'm shipping out my oil sample to get, a report on it to see how well the oil is, see if there's any metal flakes, see how much metal flakes are in the oil as well too, to prevent anything from happening furthermore. But I am super stoked to have this car behind me because it took me so long to get here. recently, you know, I put 2,500 kilometers on it, so I'm still in, I feel like, my break-in stage, but you know, my next oil change is coming up, which I'm excited for. I'm driving the absolute piss out of it when I want to, and I've learned how to drive this car properly. And that's important too, to own this car, this 996. Waiting a little bit of time for the oil to heat up, driving it, making sure it's at temp, then really going through all the gears as hard as you can to push the car to its limits so it gets a full cycle. But yeah, that's pretty much my story. I think I'm going to expand on it eventually, but that's it in a nutshell. This is my 996, and I'm super stoked to, one, be here talking about it, because I feel like there's a lot of pride and joy in what I've done and accomplished, but also to have you here with me. And if there's any questions about Porsches that you want to know, especially the 996, this isn't just my journey, it's your journey as well too. So please come with me on the ride, but I'm super stoked. If you haven't already, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, all under the same @RobAnzit. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Whew.
How do you feel?
I'm a Porsche owner. I'm a Porsche owner. I'm a Porsche owner. I'm a Porsche owner. Took me so long to get here, but we here.